This is part two of my wash cart series. This is the cost breakdown of the wash cart. I had to do it in Numbers because I have a Mac. Numbers is uh, Excel, except it's terrible. Apologies in advance if this makes you feel like you're at work, but this was the most practical way for me to do it. So let's get started. All right, so for the total costs here, I broken out everything into three different categories. I think everything that's on the cart should be here. It's just broken out in these individual portions. We'll go over these pages individually, and then the total cost tab here is going to be everything put together, total price. Also wanted to discuss, the discount purchase column. This is what I had paid for the item at the time that I purchased it, and this will either be because I bought something used, or I used a promo code, or did something like that, and then the the total cost would be what you would be paying, or if you just bought it off of the site currently, right now as it stands. Um, and also have this quantity thing that most of these items are going to be one, but a couple of the host connections and things like that, the hoses, you're going to need two of something. So let's get started with the main items first. The main items, the way I see it is, this is everything that you need as like the core of the cart. And some of this stuff, as you look through it, you'll have, and some you'll have to buy. Hopefully I make it clear enough, and I'll provide links in the description. I'll break it out the same way here, and hopefully it's an easy process to kind of figure out what you want to add and what you don't want to add, and how much it could potentially be costing you. So let's start here. First item, this is the cart itself. This is the black 24 by 36 inch 2 shelf steel service cart. That bought from Harbor Freight for $60. The sediment pre-filter. This is at the top. I will say that I bought it for $40. I wasn't able to find the one that I bought off of Amazon, and so I found a very similar one that I've linked. Unfortunately, it's 15 bucks more, but I bought this like 3-4 years ago, so things just get more expensive over time. But the one that I linked is, just to be clear, not the one I'm using, but it's the closest thing I could find that's currently available. The DIW20 is the CR spotless model that I have. This W stands for wall mount. They have a DIC20 as well, which is the cart, and I think they're both around the same price. Now, I bought this item used for $120 off of eBay, and I had to buy resin on its own as well for another $120, so I put the total here as $240. The CR Spotless still came with the connections and all that stuff, but if you bought yours brand new, you would be paying the $430, so you'll see the difference in pricing here. 50-foot Cox reels. This is the blue reel that I have, and Zorro sells this for $136. I bought it with a 15% off coupon code, and what's nice about Zorro is when you hit a certain threshold, the shipping will be free. So if you want to purchase your Zorro stuff, like, make sure you're buying enough items all at once, make sure you know what you want, and take advantage of the free shipping, as well as coupon codes. Do the registration for their mailing, and you will get 15, 20, 25% off. I got a 15% off for signing up, and I'm happy with this price. It's a lot cheaper than other places if you do some research. So moving on, this is the Sunjo SPX 9004. So I originally had the cart model on this, and in terms of the mechanical, like the actual pressure washer itself, it's the same as the one that I have, which is the 9006, the cart version. But for this setup, why do you need to buy that cart? You might as well save a bit on it, and I think it's in the 400 range for the 9006. And when it comes with the hose reel and all that stuff, I didn't really like it. I took it off, so I'm just suggesting the 9004. You notice here that I paid $180 for this. I also bought this on Amazon, but for whatever reason, Amazon was selling it for $180 on sale at the time. I was able to utilize it. And if you bought it now, it'd be $320. Maybe they have these sales again. I already have one, so I'm not tracking whether or not the discounts go live, but something to be aware of. And then the pressure washer skid plate. This is not something that I currently have, but I'm looking into, and it's only, you know, $85 after tax. So I might add that. So we look at, you know, your main cart items. You're slightly over $1,000, and depending on where you are, you have to also add your tax rate. I haven't done that. Tax will come in this total cost tab all the way at the end. But you'll see that, you know, I have about $400 of savings. I mean, it's coming from this CR Spotless that I bought used, as well as, you know, the pressure washer took advantage. But, you know, a lot of you out there probably already have a pressure washer, and you just want to throw it on a cart, so you don't have to worry about these costs. But all this is kind of vary. I just want to give you guys the tools for this, and so all the links, as I said before, will be in the description. I'll map it out the same way that I did here. Maybe I'll do like a numbering system. It'll be like wash cart, and then it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know. Let's move on to the hose connections. All right, now this page is going to be your fittings, your connections, like your hoses. First one's going to be your quick disconnect for your garden hose. I bought 3 of these, and they're going to be on the garden hose itself. So the one that I connect to my wash cart, you know, that normally like your garden hose that you'd use to water your grass and stuff like that. That has a coupler on it. The plug end of it is on the inlet of the wash cart, like that first part where you connect your hose. The second set that I have is on my fireman's nozzle and the stainless steel braided hose that I use as a bucket filler. And then the third piece is going to be on your pressure washer inlet. There's the bigger braided hose, you know, that goes from your CR Spotless to your pressure washer. So that's 3 of them. The total for that is going to be $85.53 pre-tax. Stainless steel braided hose. So I have 2 of these. One of these is used as the bucket filler. The other one is from the CR Spotless to the pressure washer. And then we have the pre-filter CR Spotless bypass hoses. These are the ones that kind of like wrap around the top of the cart to the bottom, and then also from the top of the cart to the CR Spotless end, the one that has the tap water. Moving on to garden hose Y connectors. These are the splits that allow you to do your bypass. So the first one is connected to the plug from your garden hose quick connect at the top, which splits out, you know, your filtered water and your tap water, if you remember. And the second one is at the end of the CR Spotless that kind of puts all the other hoses, you know, together. This MTM Hydro M22 15 millimeter plug, this goes at the end of the pressure washer. This is the outlet, the pressurized side. This is the plug that lets you connect it to your Cox reels. If you don't have a Sunjo, and you have like a Stanley or some, or like, you know, a brand that uses not this funky weird proprietary size, you're going to be using a 14 millimeter. I know for a fact that all Sunjo is using 15. Kind of weird, but you know, MTM makes a part for it now, which is great. These are the stainless female couplers. This is from a website called CleanRight, and they sell a lot of pressure washer stuff. I have a link in the following page, and if you can register, it'll give you points to, you know, redeem free shipping. I don't know if you'll completely max out, but I'll touch a bit more on this later. CleanRight is where I bought these, and it's really fast shipping, which I really like. But this coupler, this is the coupler that connects to your plug outlet from your pressure washer. So this is the 3/8 coupler that attaches to your pressure washer and then leads to your jumper hose, which is attached to your Cox reels like hose, and then your 50-foot hose attaches to the inside of the Cox reels, and then at the end of this hose you're going to be putting another coupler, so you need two of these guys. The second coupler that you attach to the end of this hose is what goes to your gun. This hose to pipe, male to male hose to pipe adapter, this female MPT stainless steel T304 90-degree elbow. This is the splitting elbows that I have on the pressure washer inlet for the garden hose, as well as the outlet for the CR Spotless. You'll need 4 of these. You'll need 4 of these. You need 2 elbows, and the total cost for everything put together is $322 pre-tax. If you again, Zoro has the $50 minimum. If you're buying the reel, you'll be fine buying this stuff. You're at $44 if you buy these. So if you add a couple more things, you can hit the free shipping. One thing I want to note too, you'll see there's 4 here, but you're only seeing 2 elbows. The reason why you need 2 more of these is because you're using them for your stainless steel braided hoses. Those are going to be 3/4 inch. The ones specifically that I linked below are going to be 3/4 inch female MPT, and then you can use them. You can use these connections extra too. So 2 of these are going to be going to these hoses to make them garden hose compatible in your setup, and then the remaining 2 are going to be dedicated to getting your elbows in. You can connect them without the elbows and just have the garden hose connect directly to your CR Spotless, as well as just have the hose feed into your pressure washer, but you'll have to kind of turn the layout. The way that I have it laid out, the hoses aren't under any tension when you put the elbows. So that's the reason why I have those. Also, the Y connection sticking out directly, vertical from the CR Spotless takes up a lot more space. You have a kind of cable that comes out, and where I keep my cart, kind of run by and brush against it is kind of annoying, and it moves the cart sometimes. So that's why I went and added the elbows. So we're moving on. This is the additional wash accessories. Now this is the CleanRite registration. This link is going to take you to CleanRite. This is a reference link for me. And if you register, you get 500 of their loyalty points for registering, and then I'll also get points for adding someone. You'll get points on your purchase too. And if you leave reviews, you'll get points, and you can actually utilize those points to get free shipping. And that's where it really comes key for buying from CleanRite, because their shipping is so expedited. If you don't have the free ship coupon code, it can be pretty expensive. I think the standard base shipping is over $20, and so even if I bought, let's say I wanted to buy a pressure switch and it was $27, you're automatically looking at the $60 range just to ship that item in total with tax. So definitely register. It helps me out, and then use promo codes. At the time that I had actually registered, I got free shipping for registering, so you could potentially have that deal too. I don't know when those come around, but I got pretty lucky. And then also for registering, I got a coupon code that you'll see here as a discount that I used on my first purchase, the Mosmatic gun. So yeah, the CleanRite registration. CleanRite you can use to buy the gun, and then a couple other items that I've the couplers that I bought from General Pump are from here. If you'd like to buy the MTM Hydro ones, you can go ahead and do that too. You can mix and match. You don't have to be dedicated to General Pump. I personally like using them, but that's kind of brand preference. But from my experience in doing a lot of searching, this Mosmatic 29.132. This is the actual model number for the Mosmatic gun that a lot of detailers out there are using with the swivel. I can't emphasize this enough. The swivel on this gun is amazing, and if you can get, they sell it for $79.99. They sell it for $80, but I got a promo code. It's $60. This is cheaper than the SGS 28 without the coupon code. I think the SGS sells on the NTM site for like around $90. This thing blows it out of the water. It's amazing. And if you can get it on a coupon code, or like if you're patient and you're willing to do some digging, I know not everyone wants to do that. They just want to buy some stuff. I personally like to wait around and see what coupon codes, or like figure out how I can get free shipping from where. I'm frugal, but I like nice things, but I also like my discounts. So this 1/4 inch male coupler and the plug, these are going to be for the gun. So if you look at it, together, the gun cost me $70. I ended up replacing these. That's a whole other thing. You don't want to buy the parts that I bought unless you want to spend a ton of money on those. I have a separate video. You can look in my YouTube. I don't have very many videos currently posted, and I'm sure you'll find me discussing my Mosmatic journey with the gun. This PF22 foam cannon. My guess is if a lot of you already have a pressure washer, you got a foam cannon. Just leaving a link here. This is the 22.2, so it's got the new bottle. That one's $90. The pressure gauge that I have, this is good to use if you want to reference my other videos that I plan to make for the pressure switch. You'll need to figure out, if you can't attach your pressure switch at the unloader, you'll have to figure out the pressurization between when the trigger is pulled and when it's in a bypass mode at the hose. Or if you want to just know what your pressure is, what your output is when you adjust the unloader or when you're using things. For $20, it's not bad. It's kind of nice to have it. It's a good tool. I've definitely used it testing different things, and yeah, for $20, I'm happy with it. You can also use it to splice in your pressure switch. I know normally just the coupler itself is around $10, so it's a nice tool to have. If you get a pressure switch, as I was saying, that's a 1/4 inch, you can use the port on this to fit that into your setup. It would go in after your 15 millimeter plug on your pressure washer, which is the way that I have set up. The Toco Pro Blend chemical mixer. So I have 3 of these. This is what I use to mix my ONR. It was at the top of the ONR bottle. These are really cheap. You can buy these on Zoro too, and if you can, batch it with the other stuff from Zoro, you can hit your free shipping, or you can wait and do their promo codes. I will say that they drop promo codes like twice a month. So this is actually a site that has a ton of stuff, including a lot of pressure washer items. So I really like using this site. One thing that I will say is for a T304 stainless steel 90-degree elbow, $6 is damn cheap. For the quality, if you compare to other websites or like detailers that are selling these elbows for connections of this stuff, they're a lot more expensive. Maybe the quality of it is a lot better, but they're both T304 from what I've seen. They have a T316 too, which I think is more chemical resistant, but it's also softer. I guess it's considered more premium, but I think that one's only $8 if you want to get that instead. But yeah, Zoro, that's a good site. The Fireman's Nozzle, this is what I use as my bucket filler. I bought it off of Amazon. It was $30. It's lasted a long time. I bought my dad one a couple years ago. He has a big green thumb. My parents' backyard is huge. He throws that thing around, and it's it's held up really, really well, and so I really like this. And it's got a really clean pattern too, and it's got 5 of them that you can use. I generally just keep it on one for my bucket filler setup, but I also use this nozzle for my backyard garden hose. And that one, there's a couple things that different patterns that I do tend to use for that. This Prevost Quick Connects. This is a set that comes from Amazon. $32.90. This includes the coupler and the plug. And this $32.90 price is for the valved version. You can buy the one that doesn't have a valve, but as I discussed previously, I personally like the valved version. These Nitro Garage tiles. I got the perforated ones, and the link is going to be directly to the one that I purchased. I bought 8 of them. I used 4 at the top already, and I have 4 more for the bottom, but until I figure out my skid plate situation and how I want to arrange that and whether or not I want to change my hose reel or the stand that it's on, I don't want to cut the bottom pieces yet. But yeah, that was $22 for those. And then the Quasar spray bottles, I bought those on Amazon. It's actually a pretty good deal right now if you compare to other detailing websites. To get this, if you have Amazon Prime for the free shipping, for 3 of them. So the reason why I put 1, actually, sorry, let me clarify this. This is a 3-pack. The link that I have is for a 3-pack. And I know that I was just kind of okay with the dual action, but you know, if you're constantly spraying things that use heavy amounts of product, the 3 that I use them for is for my clay lube. I often, 2 of the cars that I have, one is ceramic coated, the other 2 are wax and sealant. I do end up claying every so often. I do my parents' cars too, and those cars sit outside. I end up using clay lube relatively often, and so the dual actions helped with that. As you saw also in the video and that I keep on the cart, Brake Buster, use it, use quite a bit of it on the wheels, and mine's diluted. So you go through quite a bit of that product, as well as the interior cleaner. Some of the cars I maintain are leather, and the other ones there's actually some fabric too, and so this comes in handy, especially because I personally do interior at the end. Your hand can be kind of tired, but yeah, $33 gets you 3 of them. I might have actually bought 6. I can't remember where the other ones are. I go through a lot of stuff, but this is in total, they're about the same too. As I said before, the main items were the big discount ticket items. So around $315 for the stuff here. So let's go into total costs, and these are big numbers. This is a lot bigger than my initial estimate, and when people kind of asked me on the Reddit subforum, I said around $700. So I kind of came in close here for the big items, but you got to factor in your hose connections, and you got to factor in your additional accessories too. So we're looking at what I paid, almost $1,500 to get everything put together. This is a total price in terms with the tax added with the notion that you don't have anything. You're literally buying everything short of the products, the wash products. I didn't include any of that stuff. I'm sure everyone's kind of got their own preference, and there's, at this point for this specific video, I didn't want to address those things or add those things to the wash cart. And then, total cost of everything that I see now without discount codes, if I straight up just added everything to cart and just bought it, you're looking at $1,879 with the tax rate that I have, which I think I had put in like 9.5%. Possibly it's 10.25% now. But I mean, that's a couple dollars here and there, like looking at the total cost here. But yeah, I hope this was helpful. This is the huge number. This is, as I was putting this together, and then I looked at this page and like how everything rolled up, I was like, yeah, I don't remember spending this much money. And I mean, I think it's a lot, but if you look at everything in total, how much I've put together for it and everything in one kind of package, maybe this is not that bad. if you really look at it, I mean, more than half of it is your main items, and it's going to be your pressure washer, and like, $430 of this, of 480, 470 or so, is the CR Spotless. That's huge. So it's a kind, you can see it 240 here, but the original price was the 430. Just something to keep in mind. But yeah, thank you so much for watching the video. If you guys have any additional questions, please leave them in the comments. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.